Now, whilst today is a beautiful sunny day here in England, it's not always the case. The UK's weather is notably unpredictable, but at the beginning of this year we have been absolutely battered by hurricane force winds, flash flooding, snow, you name it, we've had it. It's been 4 seasons in the space of 2 months, and the road surface and conditions, well, it's been getting quite extreme, to be fair. And there's been many accidents and high profile incidences in the newspapers. And it got me thinking, if this is going to become a regular occurrence, or you live somewhere where maybe the weather does get the better of the road surface, how long is it before more people start optioning all-wheel drive on cars that maybe people don't by default have all-wheel drive on? This is the new Jaguar XF, and it's here to answer that very question. Now, we've actually road tested the Jaguar XF in R Sport trim like this car is before and concluded that it was a very handsome machine. Ian Callum knows how to handle a pen and paper because this car's long bonnet, short overhangs, coupe, rather raked profile is maybe something more akin to a sports car than a saloon car. That's further amplified by this car's trim level that includes sportier bumpers, 18-inch alloy wheels, and actually this one also optioned with the black pack. It's very much a representation of modern day Jaguar, and the XF in my eyes is one of the best cars in Jag's model range. The very cleanly designed interior has nice bowed sweeping surfaces that surround the driver. You feel very much part of the car as you sit quite low in the chassis. Again, the sports car-esque 3-pronged steering wheel, the way the seats in this R Sport model grip you, they're heated and leather as well, so they're comfortable. But also, it's like I say, it's that undertone of sportiness throughout the car that really comes through. And obviously this isn't your grandfather's Jaguar, there's no wood trim to be found, there's lots of interesting textures and some cutting edge technology, including this widescreen InControl Pro display, which is nice and intuitive and very visually based, so it's nice and easy to make selections at a glance. Nice touches such as the revolving vents that come on whenever you turn the air conditioning on are very James Bond, as is the familiar rising gear selector. The driver's display is totally digital and adapts and provides the appropriate information when necessary. The interior certainly has as much charm and character as the exterior in terms of its visuals. Generally speaking, material quality is pretty good. There's some nice glossy plastics, everything feels well screwed together. There's a few scratchy plastics a little bit lower down, but nothing that's going to knock off too many marks, to be honest. Now, in the rear is where the XF struggles a little bit, because in comparison to competitors, there isn't as much space. There's maybe not quite as much legroom or headroom thanks to that sloping roofline. And the large hump on the floor means that the middle passenger has to straddle that also, but then again, that's sort of par for the course for these sort of saloons. Redemption is to be found in the form of a good 540 litre boot. When it comes to all-wheel drive in the Jaguar XF, you have a couple of options. This one is the 2-litre 4-cylinder Ingenium engine, produces 178 brake horsepower and 430 Newton meters of torque. Now, it won't set the world ablaze, but it does have a respectable 0 to 62 time of 7.9 seconds. And the really nice low-down shove provided by the engine is most welcome. You can make pretty swift progress, particularly on motorways in this car. Now, that power gets to the wheels via an excellent 8-speed automatic transmission. I must sound like a broken record whenever I'm talking about JLR's 8-speed auto, because it's just always on point. It's excellent, it's fast, it's responsive, and it's silky smooth whenever you're in full auto mode and just cruising along. Now, whilst this car is indeed all-wheel drive, the majority of the time power is sent to just the rear wheels, and that rear-wheel drive bias gives it the keen handling that we expect from a Jaguar. Tendency for all-wheel drive cars is that they push on around corners, they're a bit understeery, but the Jaguar producing that power at the back means that the nose is nice and pointy, you've got some very accurate steering, and particularly when you flick things over into sport mode, firm up the suspension, weight up the steering, wake up the throttle response, the car is actually really, really enjoyable to drive. It also has very good body control. However, power is jostled between front and rear at the very notion of a loss of traction anywhere, and that gives you very great reassurance in all weathers. A good example of this was that I was heading towards the Geneva Motor Show. I was driving down to London to catch my plane, and I came across a huge puddle of standing water that I didn't see until last moment. Now, the car, obviously travelling at motorway speeds, hit this puddle and nothing happened. The car's ABS, traction control and stability systems all worked together with the all-wheel drive system and kept the car straight and true, providing adequate grip and control of the car. And it's that sort of thing whenever you're caught napping a little bit, where all-wheel drive can really make a difference. Twisting, winding roads when it's absolutely lashing it down, again, there's loads of that beautifully reassuring grip which enables you to continue on, and even through sludgy snow and things like that, bolt on a set of winter tyres. This car is going to get you to where you need to go. It's reliability in those conditions that people will start to think, hey, maybe I should have all-wheel drive just in case. Or of course, if you live in a country where it snows regularly. That system is aptly named Torque on Demand, and it certainly helps the car get away from a standing start as well, much more cleanly. The Jaguar XF on day-to-day duties is a very good executive saloon. Its ride is compliant enough to soak up some of the lumps and bumps. Even with these larger alloy wheels, it's quite cosseting when the dampers are in their softer mode, especially considering the sporty attitude of the chassis. I was maybe expecting something a little bit firmer, but no, the ride is perfectly acceptable. And on the motorway, where I highly suspect cars such as this will spend much of their lives, you just set the cruise control and the car whisks you to your destination. It really is an effortless machine to drive. At higher speeds, the refinement's good. It's just at lower speeds that you get that slight diesel clatter from the Ingenium engine, particularly whenever the engine is under load. Jaguar claim that this model emits 129 grams per kilometre of CO2 and achieves 57.7 mpg combined. Whenever you jump into the XF, there's a real sense of occasion. It comes from the way it looks, it comes from the way it drives, it comes from the way that other people perceive the Jaguar badge and the car as a whole. It feels quite special. And that's certainly something that executive car owners will look for. The all-wheel drive element, well, at £36,560, it may be a box that some people will want to tick, especially if you want that extra reassurance.
Thanks very much for watching, and let us know what you think in the comments below. Please subscribe for all of the latest and greatest cars to hit the road. For breaking news and written reviews, visit www.insidelane.co.uk.